missed a couple minutes. I was wondering if you told the story of the frog with your mother.
The duck?
And tell me what lesson you learned from this woman who I call a badass.
Okay.
Or a gangster.
Okay. So the other thing we did was we used to have a relative, a gofang, yeah. Anyway, who was a houseboy, who was working as a houseboy. It was my mother's cousin, right? Was working as a houseboy in the Beverly Wilshire area. So every Sunday on his day off, because he was a bachelor, because his family was still in China, he would come over to our house for Sunday dinner. So every Sunday, there was no Chinatown like this. So we would take the trolley, the streetcars, and we would take it down to the produce mart, right, where you have New Moon and those. And so we always buy a roast duck and bring it home. And if you go to the Chinese American Museum, there's still a very elongated paper box, right? And the ducks would come in, you know, would be put in those boxes. And the neck would be hanging out with the head, right? And we'd get back on the bus and we'd ride home. And so that was a routine too. So one day we were on the bus and we were going. We didn't have the duck with us yet. I think it would have been worse if we had the duck with us. But we were going toward the produce mart, and it was a pretty crowded bus. And so we sat up front where the horizontal seats were. So Mom was sitting at the end and I was sitting next to her, and other people were sitting next to me. And two Anglo older women got in, and they were standing in front of us. And the bus was going on with its stops. And they just kept glaring at us and glaring at us and glaring at us. The message was really clear. We should have gotten up and given them our seats. Okay, we're talking 55, 56, okay? So I mean, we saw them. They didn't hide the fact that they were, you know, glaring at us and wanting us to get up. And finally, my mom couldn't stand the glaring anymore. So she looked up and she'd go, "We pay too!" And that taught me you need to stand up for yourself. You can't be intimidated, right? And I also learned to negotiate from her. There was another story where Mom was very fashionable because she was around fashion all the time, right? And she loved to dress in suits and matching custom jewelry. And I still have some of that with me now. So she tells the story one day that she really, really, really wanted to have her hair done at Bullock's. Right, because Bullock's was really like upper class at the time. So she was shopping there and she saw the ladies in the salon getting their hair perm and done. And so she was going to get her hair done too. And so she went in and she said, how much to get a perm? And they told her $15. So she saved her money. I still remember her coming home one day with a paycheck of $100. And she was so happy. That was the first time she broke 100. So $15 for a perm was a lot of money, right? So she still wanted it really badly. So she saved her $15 and she went to Bullock, she made the appointment and they permed her hair. And then it came time to pay. Well, it was $50, not $15. Okay. And so, what did you do? What did you do? She goes, I have to see the manager. And I told her that's all the money I have and my hair's already permed, so, you know. And so they let her go with $15. So, you know. And I can't stop talking about the women of my life without talking about my daughter. she grew up with wonderful values. She's greener than green. She recycles everything. And she's raising her 2 daughters in a way that I'm learning a lot from too. And so it's truly a blessing. Any other questions? Yes?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the talk that I did. It was fantastic. And so I actually had 2 questions.
You only allow one.
But like the first question that I wanted to ask was, you talked about like the experience, like when you went back as a young adult to like this place that was a site of pain for you, Castle Elementary School. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because to me that's like a fantastic story, particularly like what your mental space was like, or just like what was that like going back into a place that you had vivid memories of like pain from, to be like kind of back in that space? Can you talk about that?
So the question was, can I talk about my my feeling and my mental space when I went back to Castlear to teach as a bilingual teacher after the painful slap in the face so many years ago? Actually, and I don't know if Dr. Chen-Hun knows this, it didn't start out as a good experience at all. Because many of the teachers at Castlear were anti-bilingual, even though they're Chinese. They didn't believe that we should use the primary language, the home language, because they think that that will hinder the development of English. So my first day at Castlear, as I walked in, and as I was going to the teacher's room, I had a 3rd grade teacher come up to me. She's Chinese American. And I said, hi, I'm Gayuan, I'm the new bilingual teacher here. And she said, we don't need people like you around here. Wow. And that was my welcome to Castlear. Did you know that? Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that, yeah.
Wow.
I didn't talk about it. I won't speak ill of the dead. What was your second question, Melvin?
Well, the second question that I had was, so you talked about like you are one of the most powerful people that I think I know who just love being Chinese. And so, and I dig that about you. But when did that stop for you? Because you talked about like, having this like kind of self-internalized, hey, all of those particular things. Was there like a moment or like occurrence? Because it also seems to me that you had these wonderful women, like the story you just told about your mother, who were in their own way kind of battling like this anti-Chinese sentiment all of their lives. But yet you still had it. So was there like a moment that you can say this was like a turning point for you?
I think ethnic studies, going through ethnic studies at UCLA, contributed greatly to that turning point. From hating to be Chinese all the way up through high school, and then being in an environment in ethnic studies where it was brand new in those days, but it was people like me who weren't woke yet, but was getting woke, right? And I still remember, and I talked about a freshman male student from Texas, Chinese American. And we were in an ethnic studies class, a beginning ethnic studies class. We were talking about being a minority in America and what does that mean to us and what were some of the struggles. And this brave soul raised his hand and he said, I'm white. I'm not color. And he was Chinese American from Texas, right? And I think the overall feeling at that class was hey, this brother needs talking to, right? If he thinks he's white, there's something wrong with him, right? And so I think the fact that I still remember that moment really says a lot about how it affected me and the eye-opening. Yes, my dear.
I happen to be from Texas.
Are you white? No.
There was only two colors,
Yeah.
white or colored.
Yes.
So you had to be identified as one or the other.
Yeah.
So you had no choice.
So the Chinese were white?
Yes,
Did they self-identify or did the white people identify them?
the white people identified.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
In certain places.
It's a-
Yeah.
Well,
right.
I'm from San Antonio, a big city.
Right.
But they still had, you know, in the, like Joski's or Texas or Sears,
Right.
2 water fountains, white colored.
Right.
3 restrooms, white men, white women.
Oh, I got a funny story about that. So I had a colleague at Cal State LA who's Filipino American. And he came through as a Rhodes Scholar. Okay. So before he went on to study, he decided he was going to spend some time in the U.S. So he flew from the Philippines to Washington, D.C., took care of all his papers, and then they told him, hop on a Greyhound, because he was going to spend some time in the South. So he hopped on a Greyhound and he started south, and as soon as they crossed the line, then all the blacks moved to the back of the bus, and the whites moved to the front of the bus. Well, he's Filipino, so he didn't know where he belonged. So he counted the rows of seats on the bus, and he sat down in the middle row. Okay, so same thing. They did a rest stop, and white bathroom, color bathroom. So he said, I can hold it. And there was drinking fountains, right, white in color. And he said that he just didn't drink. So then they stopped for lunch. And so he went and he sat down at a lunch counter. And he heard that Southern fried chicken was really good. So he ordered Southern fried chicken. And the waitress said to him, do you want dark meat or white meat? He goes, my God, the chicken's also separated too, right? And he was also a very good bilingual educator, a colleague of mine.
Who's that?
Rolando.
Oh, okay.
Rolando Santos. If no other questions, thank you for having the patience to listen to me, and